Do another 5 to the longer hole after that.
You said to the shorter hole.
Yeah, would you like me to read it?
No. I just overpowered that one.
Good dad. Yeah.
There's a groove in here.
Hello everyone, Jason Sutton here. I'm the Director of Instruction at Carmel Country Club in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I wanted to share with everybody something that I've been working on with my assistant Alex Vanderlinden, and that's the acceleration profiles of putting. One of the biggest myths I think the average golfer has out there is they should accelerate through the ball when they're putting. And what we found by looking at lots of data on the SAM lab and then testing good players versus poor players is good players tend to putt more in that constant acceleration mode, and poor players tend to over accelerate. And I'm going to talk about why, but most importantly I'm going to share with the players out there and then also the coaches some of the ideas that I've been able to help fix this problem or change the graphs on the SAM lab and the pattern. So if you're struggling with your distance control or your feel and touch elements of your stroke and you've worked with the SAM lab, we're going to talk about what it's going to look like as far as if your peak acceleration is before impact, when it should be well before impact and should be more constant going through the ball, and what it looks like from a naked eye perspective, and then how do we change that pattern. So what I've found with the poor putters that I'm working with and trying to improve on their feel and touch is they take the putter back too short and too slow, and then having really the ability to over accelerate through the ball. And it becomes very unbalanced as far as the length of the backswing and the follow through, but also they end up coming up short or they end up gunning it by, and then their buddies are often saying, you know, well, you decelled, or everybody thinks they decelerate, and I've seen very few putters that actually decelerate through the ball, much more on the acceleration or over acceleration side. So let's talk about what this looks like. So here's the common, what we see most golfers do that have this problem. The stroke looks something like this.
0.4 degrees.
And if we look at it on the SAM lab, from the top view, this is what we see, is we see a very short backswing, even though this might be a decent stroke, and we see a lot of follow through. What you're going to see, most of the better putters are going to have a little more balance to their backswing and forward swing, but also it's just going to be a lot tighter. So you look at good putters and some of the PGA Tour players, and you'll see that they have what I call a break in the finish, where they don't have a lot of length to their follow through. So what we want to do here is look at the dynamics of the stroke, and if you'll notice in this lower right hand graph, the acceleration basically happens because this player never got up to speed. So it's kind of like getting your car onto the on-ramp and not having enough acceleration to get into traffic. You have to gun it just before impact. So you can see this first hump is right at impact, so you're accelerating way too much through the golf ball, which is going to make it difficult for you to control your pace and your speed. So I understand there's a lot of different profiles out there, and you're going to say, well, there's good putters that over accelerate, and that's great, and you're probably not going to change that if it's working for them. But I'm just saying this is an alternative of what we've seen in good putters, and that constant acceleration is really a big deal. So let's talk about how are we going to change that pattern. So in my opinion, as a golf instructor, I got to basically work in opposite. So if I want somebody to cruise through impact, I got to give them a reason to cruise. So you need more pace or a faster backswing with a little more length, so you have a reason to smooth out the downswing and then break in the right position. And I'm going to show you a drill here in a second. So this would be what I would prescribe as a better stroke. So I'm going to take the putter back a little bit faster with a nice little acceleration, cruising through impact of the brake. And you'll see, let's do it one more time. It didn't pick up.
You gotta turn on, oh, there you go.
It's on. So you can also see how good that pace is. So look at the difference in the graph now. So at the beginning of the forward stroke, my speed or my speed's gotten up more constant, acceleration is higher, and then I've got a much smoother plateau here as we go through. And I even would like to see this more level. And I was trying to accentuate that a little bit so that it's actually decelerating slightly or slightly decreasing, which is fine too. That profile tends to work better than somebody that's over accelerating. So if you look at the top view now, much more balance to the stroke. And it really feels like I'm almost stopping through impact, and you can see that follow through slightly bigger than the backswing, but I would say that's a very acceptable length for a 10-footer on 10 stimp, which is what we're dealing with right now. So here's a little drill or sort of an idea that I actually got from my good friend Rob McGill from Nashville, and he got, I think, from Joe Hallett, is if you want to try to get somebody to feel that break. When I'm talking about a break, I'm talking about not this move, but sort of a hit and hold type of feeling, which I feel like most good putters do, is have them take the backswing and then feel like they stop the putter
6 degrees
as the sound occurs. So once you hear the ball hit the face, I want you to stop your follow through. And it's interesting, if you look at this one, Alex, is you'll see that it may feel like you're stopping, but actually it's very, very balanced. So the backswing and follow through are almost exactly the same. So kind of interesting. Look at the dynamics again, pretty smooth at the top here with the acceleration graph, which I like. And you can see that that's going to be a really good way or a consistent way to control your distance. So then all you got to do is worry about just how far back you're going to take the putter with a little more pace, and that way the follow through matches and you tend to get a more consistent roll. So I would suggest that you test this on the putting green, have somebody look at you and say, okay, this is how far that backswing was. As you hit it, hear the sound, hold the finish, and just monitor how far the ball rolls. Me and Alex are doing some research on this. We did a small study with not enough golfers, but enough to tell that the guy that had the best distance control was the one that had the most constant acceleration. And everybody else that was all over the map with a short or long were all over accelerating. So I think there's something to this. Try it out. Let me know what you think. Like I said, it's not everything. There's lots of ways to do it, obviously, but I think if you're going to believe in something, this is something you can really hang your hat on. So thanks for watching the video. I hope this helps. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you think.